The text for the evening is from the Gospel of John, which is a little unusual for Christmas Eve. Usually, the text would come from Luke's Gospel, which features the acquiescent and favored Mary and the shepherds who are keeping watch over their flocks by night, and a baby wrapped in swaddling cloth and then laid in a feed box. Or in some cases, maybe you would go to Matthew's Gospel, because all four Gospels, they introduce Jesus in different ways. And in Matthew's Gospel, it tends to focus not on Mary's side of things, but on Joseph's side of things, that dreamer that he is. And there it is featured the Magi who come bearing gifts to the Christ child. John takes a completely different tact when it comes to introducing Jesus into the world. He speaks about the pre-existent Christ in terms reminiscent of the creation story in Genesis chapter 1. He starts out with that wonderful prologue in John, in the beginning. That's how Genesis begins. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things came into being through him, and without him not one thing came into being. What has come into being in him was life, and life was the light of all people. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome it. For John, the real beginning of Jesus is not in Bethlehem, but in heaven. What I want to do is focus on verses 11 and 12 in that first chapter of John's Gospel. It goes like this. He came to what was his own, and his own people did not accept him. But to all who received him, who believed in his name, he gave the power to become children of God. Now, wait a second. I thought everybody was a child of God. Isn't that what you were taught as a child? That every human being on this planet is a child of God? That's what I was taught, but John seems to suggest that it isn't so. According to John, there seems to be a sense in which a person is not naturally a child of God, but rather there's a sense in which we must become a child of God. There must be two kinds of children of God. Imagine, if you will, a home that has twin boys. One of the boys never does anything but use his home. All through his youth, he takes everything from that home, everything that it has to offer, and he gives nothing back in return. The parents work and sacrifice to give him a chance at life, and he takes it as a right, never realizing that he is taking and making no effort to deserve it or repay it. He's entitled, he thinks. When he leaves home, he doesn't make any effort to keep in touch. The home has served its purpose, and he is finished with it. He recognizes no bond to be maintained, and hence no debt to be repaid. He is his father and mother's son, but between him and his parents, there is no bond of love or intimacy. The love all goes one way. It goes from parent to child. The parents give everything in love, and the son gives nothing in return. Now, on the other hand, there's the other boy who realizes what his parents have done and are doing for him. He takes every opportunity to show gratitude, and he tries to become the young man that his parents would wish him to be. As the years go by, he becomes closer, except for those teenage years, but overall, he just grows closer and closer to his parents, especially to his father. The relationship between father and son becomes a relationship of fellowship and mutual esteem and friendship. Even when this boy leaves home, the bond is still there, and he is conscious of a debt that he can never repay. In the first case, the son goes farther and farther away from the father. In the second, the boy grows nearer and nearer. Both boys are the father's sons, but the sonship, it's very different. The second boy has become a son in a way that the first boy never was or will be. I think, can't be sure, but I think there might be two kinds of children of God. There is the one to which everyone belongs because they are created beings, each one of us in the image of God. We are a part of the human family, but there is a deeper level, a stronger level, a more beautiful type of child of God. It is all tied up between the love and devotion of parent and child. I remember the story of a certain younger man who was mentioned to a famous teacher whose student this younger man claimed to be. And the old teacher answered, he said, "He may have attended my lectures, but he was never one of my students." You know, there is a world of difference between sitting in a teacher's classroom and really being one of his students. There can be contact without communion. There can be relationship without fellowship. John claims that we can enter a truer, deeper, real relationship with God through Jesus Christ. It comes entirely from God. We cannot make ourselves children of God. We have to enter into a relationship that God offers us. A commoner, can't approach the king with an offer of friendship. If there's ever to be such a friendship, it has to come entirely on the approach of the king. And so it is with God and us. What God offers us is the right to become sons and daughters, children of God through Jesus Christ. And we're free to accept it or not. Which brings me to another thought. Why wouldn't someone want to become a child of God in the truest and deepest sense? Why is it that when Jesus came to his own people, we did not accept him? That's a little harder to explain. I suppose there are a lot of possibilities. Maybe life is too full or busy or interesting, and God kind of just ignored and counted out. Maybe a person feels that God has abandoned him or her, or hurt him or her, disappointed him or her. Maybe the thought of devoting one's life to serving and loving God, frankly, isn't all that appealing. Perhaps people feel that they're just better off running their own lives without having to bother about God. I know some people who never think about God at all until they need to. I don't know. We are not really told by John why his own people did not receive him. You folks like movies? I love movies. It's easier than reading a book, I just love movies, and I love Christmas movies, and they are, of course, all out in spades this time of year. Well, actually, if it's the Hallmark Channel, it started in June. But, if you like movies, this is a great time of year because they bring out all the classic reruns. I'm sure if I ask you what the number one Christmas movie of all time is, you could all name it. No, it is not The Griswold Family Vacation. It's a great movie, but that's not it. It's not How the Grinch Stole Christmas. It is not Home Alone, another very fine Christmas movie. It's not Polar Express or Miracle on 34th Street. It isn't even Die Hard, which is a fine Christmas movie. Thrill List and Rotten Tomatoes and other film critic ranking systems put one movie at the top of their list for good reasons. It's a Wonderful Life. It catches up so much of our human condition and our aspirations. Now, if you don't know the story, which is frankly hard to imagine, Jimmy Stewart plays the role of George Bailey. And ever since he was a young fellow, George dreams of going places and doing big things and, getting out of that little town of Bedford Falls. But every time he almost escapes its clutches, something in that little burg happens to interrupt his leaving. Its tentacles reach out and pull him back in. Eventually he settles down and in some ways settles for less. He becomes the owner and manager of the savings and loan bank that bears his father's name. And then one day something happens. It's Christmas Eve, the bank examiners have come, and there's an $8,000 shortfall in the accounts. His Uncle Billy has lost the money while taking it to the bank. George doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know where to turn. His whole world is crumbling around him. I want you to watch a scene in a moment. He's just left the tyrannical banker's office, Potter's office, who's going to have him arrested for absconding with the savings and loan money. Watch this scene, if you would.
Yeah, Merry Christmas! Glad you come. How much on that good spaghetti? We got everything.
God. Oh, God. Dear Father in heaven, I'm not a praying man, but if you're up there and you can hear me, show me the way. I'm at the end of my rope, right? Show me the way, oh God.
Are you all right, George? Want somebody to take you home, huh?
Why you drink so much, my friend? Please go home, Mr. Bailey. This is Christmas Eve.
Bailey? Which Bailey?
This Mr. George Bailey.
The next time you talk to my wife like that, you'll get worse. She cried for an hour. It isn't enough she's slaves teaching you stupid kids how to read and write. You have to bawl her out, eh?
Get out of here, Mr. Welsh!
Wait a minute. I want to pay for my drink.
Never mind the money. You get out of here, quick! He's my best friend. Get out!
You all right, George? Who was that?
He gone. No worry. His name is Welsh. He no come into my place no more.
Wow. That's what I get for praying.
The last time he come in here. You hear that, Nick?
Where's my insurance policy? Here.
No, please, no go this way, Mr. Bailey. No, you no feels good. Sit down and rest. Please, no go away, please.
Well, you have seen that scene before. After he leaves the bar, he's holding his insurance policy, which suggests to him that he's worth more dead than alive. And he ends up at the rail of the bridge, and he's thinking about taking his own life. And it's there that God answers his prayer and sends him a guardian angel by the name of Clarence. That's right, Clarence. And Clarence grants him a wonderful gift. He's able to see back what life would look like if he had never been born. It's a powerful set of scenes where he goes back and he visits all the places and all the people that he has touched in his lifetime to see how vastly different things are because he was never born. No wonder it's the #1 Christmas movie of all time. It has so many profound and powerful, indeed biblical lessons wrapped up in it. I wish our time together tonight was a little bit longer so I could enumerate these points more fully, but time doesn't allow. You want to and you need to get back to your homes and families. So let me just list them one right after the other. #1, we have more friends than we think we do. We're like Elijah, the Old Testament prophet. We're never as alone as we imagine ourselves to be. #2, how we live makes a big impact on the lives of others. We may not realize it at the time, but everybody leaves an impression in life for good or evil. We cannot walk across the wet cement of life without leaving some sort of lasting impression. #3, we reap what we sow. Now, this doesn't show up until the end of the movie, but we discover that God has placed an inviolable law at work in this universe. What we put out into the world for good or evil always comes back to visit us. 4, trouble can teach you to pray or it can teach you to curse. But perhaps the most important thing, the thing that really stirs the heart about this movie is the promise from God: on Christmas, I can begin again. Nothing need stay the same. My work can be different. My relationships, though tattered and torn and messy as they may be, can be different. I can be different. Watch what happens to George after he has seen what life is like if he had never been born. He's back at the bridge, and he's saying another earnest prayer, and once again, God always answers, as God does, and God answers George, and now everything is different. Now, it's a long clip, but I thought you folks would rather watch movies than listen to me, so take a look at this.
Help me, Clarence! Get me back! Get me back! I don't care what happens to me! Get me back to my wife and kids! Help me, Clarence, please! Please! I want to live again! I want to live again! I want to live again! Please, God, let me live again.
Hey, George! George! You all right? Hey, what's the matter?
Now get out of here, Bert, or I'll hit you again. Get out!
What the Sam Hill you yelling for, George?
George. Bert, do you know me?
Know you? You kidding? I've been looking all over town trying to find you. I saw your car piled into that tree down there, and I thought maybe you... Hey, your mouth's bleeding. Are you sure you're all right?
What you... My mouth's bleeding, Bert! My mouth's bleeding! Zuzu's pedals. Zuzu... There they are! Bert! What do you know about that? Merry Christmas!
Well, Merry Christmas.
Merry! Merry! Yay! Yay! Hello, Bedford Falls! Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas, George.
Merry Christmas, movie house! Merry Christmas, Emporium! Merry Christmas, you wonderful Billy and Lone! Hey! Merry Christmas, Mr. Potter!
Happy New Year to you. In jail. Go on home. They're waiting for you.
Mary! 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 Well, hello, Mr. Bank Examiner. How are you?
Mr. Bailey, there's a deficit.
I know, $8,000.
Got a little paper.
I'll bet it's a warrant for my arrest. Isn't it wonderful? I'm going to jail. Merry Christmas, reporters. Where's Mary? Mary! Oh, look at this wonderful old drafty house. Mary! 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 Have you seen my wife?
Merry
Kids! Pete! Kids! Janie! Tommy! Let me look at you. Oh, I could eat you up. Where's your mother?
She went looking for you. Looking for Billy. Daddy!
Suzu, my little ginger snap. How do you feel?
Fine. Not a smidge of temper.
Not a smidge of... Hallelujah.
Hello. George!
Mary.
Darling, where are you? George, darling, where are you? Oh, George. George.
Let me touch you. Are you real?
George.
Well, you have no idea what's happened to me.
You have no idea what happened. Well, come on, George. Come on downstairs. Quick, they're on their way.
All right.
Come on. Come on in here now. Now you stand right over here by the tree. Right there. And don't move. Don't move. What's happening? Come. Oh, I hear them coming in. George, it's a miracle. It's a miracle. What's happening? Who's gonna come, Daddy? Who's Daddy? Come in, Uncle Billy. Everybody in here.
George. Isn't it wonderful? So many friends. Mary did it, George. Mary did it. She told some people you were in trouble, and they scattered all over town collecting money. Didn't ask any questions, just said, George in trouble. Tell me. What is it? Like it's quite like that. Another run on the head. Here, George. Merry Christmas.
There we are. The line arms on the right. These around you with Johnson bells.
George, I changed my mind.
George is up the back of the order. Here's something you to play with.
I wouldn't have a roof over my head if it wasn't for you, George.
Just a minute, just a minute. Quiet, everybody. Quiet, quiet.
Now get this. It's from London.
Oh.
Mr. Gower cabled you need cash. Stop. My office instructed to advance you up to $25,000. Stop. Hee-haw and Merry Christmas, Sam Wainwright.
Mr. Martini, how about some wine?
As soon as I got Mary's telegram. Good idea, Ernie. A toast. To my big brother, George, the richest man in town.
Well, you have seen that movie, I'm sure. There was a time not too long ago when I wasn't as smart as I am now. I wondered why Christmas Eve is always the most popular evening of the church during the year. And it turns out it's the same reason that the top 20 Christmas movies are the top 20 Christmas movies. Every single one of the top Christmas movies is all about transformation. In A Miracle on 34th Street, Doris Walker, played by Maureen O'Hare, is changed. In the Dickens classic Christmas Carol, Ebenezer Scrooge is miraculously transformed overnight into a generous and kind soul after he's visited by 3 angelic ghosts. In Home Alone, the grisly next-door neighbor's family is transformed into a functioning family unit. In Die Hard, in those movies, Bruce Willis's wife and their marriage are saved out of catastrophes. Even the Grinch Who Stole Christmas finds out that his heart grew 3 sizes on Christmas Day. Good friends, that is the truth about Christmas. As the old preacher, now long gone from the Riverside Church, said in New York, Harry Emerson Fosdick, he said, "The central truth of Christianity is that no person need stay the way they are. All you need to do is earnestly pray, as George Bailey prayed, and ask God to enter your life, your relationships, your everyday work or school, and your whole existence. Just trust His grace and love offered in Christ Jesus, and you'll have what everybody wants at Christmas, the chance to begin again. It is the promise from God sent to us in the form of a babe wrapped in linen cloths and lying in a feed box. But to all who received Him, all who believed in His name, He gave the power to become the children of God. Amen.